From Las Vegas, we head north on Interstate 15 about 50 miles to State Route 169. From there, it's 20 miles south through Overton and on to the junction with Old St. Thomas Road. From there, we travel a little more than 3 miles on a maintained dirt road until we reach a parking area and the trailhead.
Here we rendezvous with Ranger Sky McLean, who will introduce us to our surroundings.
Morning.
Good morning. Welcome to St. Thomas. So glad you're here.
Thanks for having us.
Glad to have you. Lake Mead National Recreation Area.
It's gorgeous. It just being out here and seeing the scenery makes it worth coming out, but I know there's more to it.
Right. We'll be visiting St. Thomas, which is about a mile out on the trail. And this is a very fertile area even today. And it's no wonder that Native Americans lived here thousands of years ago, and in 1865, the settlers of St. Thomas first appeared right here.
St. Thomas was once a town of 500 people supporting agriculture and small businesses. Then Hoover Dam was built in the 1930s, and this area flooded and became part of Lake Mead until drought lowered the lake level.
One of the fascinations about St. Thomas is that until about 2002, it was submerged under about 70 feet of water. And if you look below us, you can kind of see where the lake level would kind of continually drop, and you can see these layering. And then as the lake level dropped fairly rapidly, they started to see at least one particular structure that started to peer out of the water. All right, let's go ahead this way.
The trail is well maintained and easy to follow. A few years ago, when it became apparent that there probably wouldn't be any water at this location for a long time, the Park Service went ahead and built this path to better afford visitors a way to get to the town site.
One of the first features that we're going to come to as you're walking to St. Thomas is these two concrete kind of little walls. And this is the remnants of a canal system that allowed the Mormon settlers to get water from the Muddy River, which is basically out in the middle of the valley there. If you look up close, you can see where they had some kind of either wooden or metal structure that they could close off the waters in the ditch, and then they could raise them up when they wanted the water to come through.
Okay. They almost made a little dam system, so it's maybe a precursor to Hoover Dam. In a very mini version.
Well, and even today, a lot of places still have these kind of irrigation systems.
That's how my grandpa irrigates. It's important when visiting a site like St. Thomas that we look but not touch. The remains of the town need to be protected. And while it's normal to want to walk up and explore the foundations, we all need to remember that a place like this won't be here very long unless people respect it.
As we approach this feature right here, you'll notice this cabling system set up. The reason that we put this in place is we needed to protect this area. As people were coming out to St. Thomas, they were walking right through the feature. And this is why this particular area has this cable, because people were cutting straight across the foundation.
Well, let's go around. Wow, now it really opens up.
Yeah, we have reached the main road into St. Thomas. Over the course of about a 65-year period between 1865 and 1925, this community went through a lot of changes. The initial settlers left for about 10 years because of a boundary dispute. They were told that they had to pay back taxes in gold coin. They had thought they were in Utah or maybe Arizona. Nevada said, nope, you are in Nevada. And it took about 10 years for settlers, including Mormon settlers, to return. And then in 1912, the railroad came in. And in 1914, the first automobile came to town. In 1925, people started to know about the Hoover Dam. The water was going to be coming.
So what do we have out here? Can we go take a look?
Well, we're going to take a look at a house foundation.
Let's go check it out.
Okay, let's do that.
It's so cool that you still have a street as you go along here.
This is one of the homes. I think this is the Whitmore home that you can see. There was a basement at one time. If you want to look behind me, this is a cistern, and we have put some safety grading up on it because these are about 15 to 18 feet deep. And then they would use a bucket system to bring the water out. And about once a year, they would send usually the smallest person in the family down to scour out the well. And we know that because there's some initials down near the bottom of some of these cisterns. But this was probably a good 6 months worth of water that they could store in these.
That would not be a job I would want, is having to go down into...
I used to complain about taking out the trash. Can you imagine? Go clean the cistern. Forget it.
So let's head on down the road and we'll see what we can find in the rest of the town. Today we call it the ice cream parlor, and this was one of the first features that emerged from the lake. This is the iconic school building. We're standing in the front of the school. You can see the steps behind us. And this led up to a two-story schoolhouse. In addition to just having the regular classes, they had plays here. I'm sure they had a lot of community meetings here, especially when they realized that the town was going to be flooded by water.
Yeah, I bet. It's fun to think about and imagining being a student in this school and coming out these steps, and there's the roadway. It's fun to try to make this come back to life as a real town. So, Sky, you have some recorded memories from residents who lived here.
Yeah, we came across a number of quotes that we really enjoyed, and I'd like to share these with you. This is from Uzelle Prince Preston, and she said, "Recess was the highlight of the day. We played all of those good games like pump, pump, pull away, steal sticks, kick the can, run, sheep, run, marbles, and baseball." I think some of those we recognize, others not so much.
And recess is always the best part of the day in my mind.
For sure, for sure.
Thanks for sharing all this
Absolutely.
with us.
You're
I love
welcome.
it.
It was great.
Let's go to the ice cream shop and get a cone.
Okay, we're ready.
Like kick the can and pump, pump. What was it?
We're grateful to Sky for introducing us to St. Thomas.